This is the real strength training 101. I know there's like 1,000 others on the internet, but for reals, this is the most simple way of looking at strength training. Now, there are cases out there where strength training gets complicated, and it can be complicated for good reasons because usually somebody's career is on the line, whether you're a power lifter or you're somebody trying to make it through the NFL Combine, and little split seconds count. That's huge. But for the average Joe like me, strength training can be a very, very simple idea. And I'm going to put that together for you today. But before I do, what exactly is strength? In the most simple terms I could think of, strength is the ability to produce force, and more specifically against some kind of resistance. For us in the weight room, that resistance ends up being some kind of weight, and that weight is given force because of gravity. If we were on the moon, things would be a lot easier, right? So our ability to produce a force against a resistance. Now, how do we know when we're getting stronger? Well, one of the ways we can get stronger is by the weight that we used to lift is now easier to lift. Okay? Another way that we can get stronger is that weight that we used to lift is now moving faster. Okay? So you can start to see that there are different ways we can build more strength. Maybe using the same weight, we can add more repetitions to what we were able to do the previous week. Okay? Now that you have an idea of what strength is and ways that you can build strength and increase strength and see yourself building strength, there are 3 methods. In fact, one has to follow the other in order for you to build strength and continue to build strength over a long period of time. The first thing you got to do is something, right? I know it's not this crazy idea, but you got to do something. If you never begin, how can you get to where you want to go? It seems so simple, and yet there are many people that don't even try, okay? Because they're spending so much time on the internet trying to research, what do I do? How do I build strength? First thing you gotta do is something, okay? Whether that's going on a hike, doing a push-up on the ground, or picking up some weight and just going on a walk with it. You might look a little weird, but whatever it is, you gotta start by doing something. Bodyweight squats in the gym, going on a jog, whatever it is. I know that's not the most traditional way of building strength, but either way, guys, you've got to do something. You've got to initiate this somehow. Next, once you do something, you have to do that something consistently. What does that mean? You have to do it more than once, okay? And perhaps more than twice. Being consistent has to do with doing it on a regular basis, whether that's once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 6 times a week. You got to be consistent with it. For most people, when it comes to strength training, 2 to 3 times a week is going to start helping you to see some results. So that's what I recommend. Now, we've done something, and we've also done that something consistently, whether it's push-ups, squats, lunges, rows, or going on a walk, whatever it is, we're being consistent with it. The third part and the last part of Strength Training 101, okay, I promise you I'd keep this simple. The third part of this is you've got to do more of that something. Okay, let's say you did a push-up, and then you did a push-up again 3 days later, and then you did another push-up another 2 days after that. Well, guess what? If you want to get stronger, you've got to do 2 push-ups the next week, okay? And if you can do 3, go for it. 4, awesome. Eventually, you're going to get up there to 10, 15, 20 push-ups, okay? Because you started by doing something, you stayed consistent with that something, and you made that something more difficult. Now, there's more than one way to make that more difficult. Remember, the first part of this conversation was, what can we do to build, or how will we know when we're getting stronger? Well, one of those is, you're simply able to add more repetitions onto the number of repetitions you've been doing. If you've been doing 8 and all of a sudden you can do 10 with just as much effort, that's great, you're building strength. Another more traditional way to look at it is, hey, you just add weight to whatever that was. If you're able to do squats with 20 pounds and now you try doing squats with 45 pounds, that is an increase in strength, especially when you're applying the same amount of effort, or so you think. Obviously, you're applying more effort, but it is easier to do, okay? Another way is by adding sets. Let's say you're used to doing 3 sets of 8 with whatever movement you're using. And then the next week, you don't feel like you can go up in repetitions, but hey, you feel like you have enough energy to do another set. So you do 4 sets of 8. That extra set just added on volume to what you're used to doing. That, my friends, is another example of building strength. And if you do, let's say you do 3 sets of 8, and then you do 3 sets of 8 the next time you work out, but this time you did 3 sets of 8 in 1, 2, 3 minutes less time than you did before, you just increase strength because you increase the density or the amount of repetitions per unit of time that you did for that session, okay? As you can see, there's lots of different ways that we can build strength. And strength, again, and I'll recap it, guys, is doing something, being consistent with that something, because if you don't keep doing it, nothing's gonna change, okay? And then 3, making that something more difficult over time. Guys, strength training does not get more easy than that. There's lots of things we can start to really pick at, but I'm not a fan of that. I like to keep things simple. So, hope that helps you out. This is the Real Strength Training 101. Now get to it. Peace.